Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of the Detour Live, and historic stage 4 for the Tour de France. I was shocked. I was just proud. All these emotions flowed through, and that is, of course, we went through a stage without a major crash. Mark Cavendish won. We backed him in. There's a lot to unpack. I'm your host, Dan Jones, joined as always by 4-time national road champion from Australia, Johnny Giroux, the voice of cycling, Phil Liggett. Now, Phil, I can put the one wood away. I'm in a good mood today. It's great. And obviously, NBC must be the same because what a fantastic fairy tale for Mark Cavendish.
I'm not because it's 1-0 Poms versus Aussies, mate.
No, we've buried that. We're out of the competition now. Caleb crashed. Okay. We're done. That's finished.
You may not get back today, but I'm sure you'll get your own back in the next couple of weeks, John. I was so happy for Cav. I mean, I've said it before, but left out of the Tour controversially for the past 2 years. This year he steps in as a replacement for Bennett, and he comes up trumps. You saw all the emotion. The whole team applauded him when he stepped out of the car, when he went back to the team buses after with the green jersey on. Every individual mechanic, masseur, helper, all came and hugged him, and the tears flowed. He didn't believe, first of all, as he said, he didn't think he'd ever see the Tour de France again, and the thought of another victory was never on the books. Fantastic. This is the Tour of Tears, let's face it. You're right. It is. From the pain, what's going to happen is a victory.
Exactly. Well, but what really impressed me, I was just going to say, you're talking about the reaction of all his team and the stuff, but the reaction of the riders, his opposition, genuine affection. There's a great photo I mentioned to Dan of Michael Matthews grabbing him, going him. There it is there. And you can see by the look on Michael's face, and Bling is just as excited as if he'd won it himself. So it meant a lot to a lot of different people. Greipel was one of who had a great rivalry. Was one of the first to get up and gave him a great big hug as well. So pretty special, actually.
Well, yeah. Cycling Tips posted a lot of the Twitter reactions from the riders and personalities. Geraint Thomas said, I've seen Cav at his very best, and I've seen him work so hard through his toughest moments. And even I didn't expect that today. This sport knocks you down time and time again. But if you keep getting back up, it can reward you with incredible ways. Cav always gets back up. Proud of you, mate. There's another message, Chris Froome, so awesome, saying Mark Cavendish proved the doubters wrong today. Well, we never doubted him, so he's not talking about us. Daniel Lloyd said, who's on GCN, does fantastic work and former pro himself. When sporting greats fade, you question whether the standards have increased, whether that athlete would have won in the modern era, even at their peak. Mark Cavendish has now beaten 3 generations of the best sprinters on the biggest stage. No more questions needed. And lastly, Jasper Philipsen, who was obviously in the sprint, disappointed I could not deliver a 3rd victory in a row for the team. It's nice always to fight out some fair sprints with a true legend, Mark Cavendish. We go again. Thanks again for Cycling Tips for posting those. But as you see, Phil, like there's just so much admiration in the peloton, in the media for Mark Cavendish.
A genuine love for him because he wears his heart on his sleeve, as you know. He's a very emotional guy. He apologized because he swore on air yesterday, but hey, that's the way he is. He is a very natural person. His wife, Peter, calls him the boy or the lad. Oh, the boy's been at it again, because he knows exactly. She reads him inside out. I guess that's why they have such a happy time together, because she just keeps one side of it. But she looks at the television. I would love to have been in the room when Cav crossed that line because she knows exactly how he would be feeling. He'd have kissed anybody at the finish line. Anybody that rode within 2 feet of him, Cav would have pulled him in and given him a big hug. The relief, the happiness, you could feel it coming in, even into my little room here in London. Yeah.
Well, here was Mark Cavendish, his reaction after the finish.
I don't know what to say, man. Like, just being here is special enough, Didn't think I'd ever get to come back to this race. We didn't know if we were going to get it. And then Lula, we lost Ballerow. He had his wheel same thing. And then you just see what a team this is, You got the green jersey, the world champion. You can't believe. He just comes just to get the final pull to try and catch the breakaway, Putting everything in, Like, so many people didn't believe in me, you know. And these guys do.
It's a bit of a delay on the audio there. Don't want to have it. But yeah, I mean, obviously, big emotion. And if he, I was very critical of Lefebvre yesterday. I'll put my hand up, but I just called it as I saw it.
You put out that one wood. You pulled out that one wood. But I've played a bit of golf with you, Dan, and you do hit the one wood a fair way, but it's not always straight. I'll give you that.
Well, I don't have the one wood today. I've got more of a, pitching wedge. I'm just chipping around the greens. But, at least I don't get the putter out. I mean, you're always just putting. You're always.
I was a lot better around the greens than you, mate. But look, talking about green, there he is in his green jersey. I got to say, the other side to it is Lefebvre, he might be a bit of a hard ass. And I agree with you that he shouldn't be airing that dirty linen publicly about Sam Bennett, who's part of his wolf pack. But obviously in Patrick's mind, he's already left the wolf pack. But the other side is you don't get to be one of the best sports directors in the game if you haven't got the connection with your guys. So he has. And he has saved the career of Cav, because Cav was gone until he got pulled back into the wolf pack by Patrick Lefebvre. And he didn't do it because he thought he was going to come back and win a Tour de France stage. He came back because he respected what Cav has been and has helped save his career. So I'll give him a pat on the back, old Patrick.
Well, it is incredible. Like, remember that emotional interview Cav did at the end of last year when he thought it was his last race? Like, he was done. Like, that was it. It was over. And then to come back and do what he did, it's got to go down as one of the all-time great stories from the Tour de France, Phil.
It has, and as you saw in his interview there was an awful long pause. You sort of reduced the edit there, but I thought he was never going to speak to the interviewer there. There was a long pause. He was trying to get the world of the last 3 years into the right order in his head before he said a word, because so much has happened. He fell out with the South African team he was a member of. He left them on poor terms, and then Lefebvre picks him up and takes him on board, tries him out a few times. He had a fantastic tour of Turkey. And the reason he's sprinting so well is because he's so happy again. Nothing a problem, no pressure. He came to the tour at the last minute, so he could never worry about it. He just got thrown in. And his first words were, "I'm back in the Tour de France. I'm happy. Whatever comes, comes." But he's sprinting so well. Okay, let's face it, without Caleb Ewan, it might have been a different result because Caleb was spinning so well. But we never know that. You never look back. What happened yesterday to an icon of the Tour de France. He's got 31 stage wins. I saw a quote from Stuart O'Grady go through Twitter this morning. Stewie just congratulated him. He said, "To win 31 stages in the Tour de France, mate, is unbelievable." We're so happy.
Certainly is. Yeah, and it'll be at least a couple more by the end of this tour, I reckon. So,
but you said that about Caleb Ewan. Look at that poor old Caleb. You might be right. He won't win today. Let's guarantee that one, John. He's not going to win today.
Yeah.
What was the reaction within NBC? Because I've been winding you up for a couple of days saying they'd have all these packages ready to go. I mean, the American audiences must have been just ecstatic.
They are because they love Cav. Everybody loves Cav, wherever you are in the world. We were hoping, of course, always for a little bit of an American input, but that'll come later. We've got good riders. I say we are. I work for the Americans, yes. But Sepp Kuss, who's going to hopefully support Roglic when we get to the mountain. His days will come. This was all about Cav yesterday. I felt sorry for Brent Van Moeren because I saw him race early in the year when he went off course in sight of the finishing line in a big local Tor Limburg, I think it was. He turned right following a police signal, which he misinterpreted. It wasn't the policeman's fault. And he sent him down a side street, and the race went straight through, and that was it. They were racing for the finish. But he is a lone break expert. And I really thought he was going to make it. He got caught in sight of the line when they accelerated. But he said he's going to
he did exactly that in the Dauphiné. It was so similar. And I thought he was going to hold on too. And then as it got close to the line, it was going to be touch and go. I mean, they only caught him 200 metres to go. And actually, that was the biggest challenge for Cav because as Vermeer was coming back, it squeezed Cav. It didn't stop him. He got through, but that was really touch and go for that split second. Whereas Vermeer coming back, Cav moving forward. If you get a chance to look at the replay, it's just very close.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, the good thing is we're going to have Matt White live for the first time this year. So you can ask questions, comments, and we've got the competition running. And there's a few comments coming in. Carolyn Harbeck says, "G'day, gents." Of course, Wendy Superfan. Hi, Dan, John, Phil, and all. Stuart McIntosh wants to know, how did Cav get the nickname the Manx Missile? What is the Manx bit about?
I can answer that, Dan, because I gave it to him. A lot of people claim it, but I was the first call of his first stage win, and I called him the Manx Missile because that's what he appeared. He's low, he's crouched, he locks into his target, which is the finishing line, and he accelerated like I would imagine a missile leaves the tubes. And it was so fitting a call. I just said, the Manx Missile is firing. And the title stuck with him for the rest of his life.
And he's from the Isle of Man.
And he's from the Isle of Man. and we speak the same language because he's got a good Scouse accent, as you know. I never really had the Scouse accent, but if you want one, I can do it. It's all right. I can tell you, talk like that. But, I just never had one. People in my area where I live used to come and ask me where I actually came from. That's just a mile down the road, look. Mum was Welsh, so she probably tempered my accent. My dad was real Liverpool. He had a good Scouse accent, yeah. But Manx Missile story, and I think Mark likes it too. And it's back.
Well, if he starts making some merchandise, he should give you a clip, Phil. That's he can trademark that. Annette Miller says 40 years today since Phil Anderson became the first Australian to wear the yellow jersey. We were aware of that, and we've got some photos to recap. And obviously, a young Phil Anderson. That was another iconic moment, being the first Australian to do so. There's Phil there with Bernard Eno. Phil, you would have been commentating that edition. What are your memories of that famous day?
Well, the one memory I've got is when Eno crashed and broke his nose racing into St Etienne, and he blamed the Australian. He came and asked Paul Sherwin. He said, "Paul," because Eno speaks no English really. He said, "Who is this Australian guy?" And Paul says, "Oh, he's come in from Australia, but he spent a lot of time racing with the HCBB, I think it was." And Eno was clearly very impressed by the riding of the Australian, but he blamed him for his crash going into St Etienne, which was very unfair. It was not Phil's fault because I was commentating on it. But even so, that it was the start of a relationship between the two. And was it 1982 when he took his first?
No, 81.
It was 81. He led for, was it 10 days? I haven't checked that.
No, he only had that first year. He only had it for the one day. So he got it on stage 5. So that's what the 40 years. It's not actually the date is 40 years, not the day, but it was stage 5 in 1981, and it was to the Plat d'Été at the top of St Larry-Soulon. And it was only a short stage, 117k, I think, from St Gaudin. And, he was away with, I think Van Imp won the stage, but he stayed with, and got the yellow jersey. And then the next day he wore it in the time trial, but he never got to wear it in a road stage that year because, took it off in the time trial. And that's what that photo was of, going up and taking over the jersey of the next day, yeah.
Which was why Eno was smiling. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been smiling. He'd been very upsetting, in fact.
Well, there's a wonderful story which Phil has told. I actually hosted a function. I think it might have been 20 years celebration down in the miracle city of Lourdes, and they were celebrating it. I mean, I'm sure Kelly was there and all of that. We talked about it, and Phil talked about the situation. One, when his sports director came up and said, "You're supposed to be," I think it was Bernardo, whoever the leading Frenchman of Peugeot was, "you're supposed to be with him." He said, "Oh, where is he?" "Well, he's 5 minutes back." He said, "Well, I'll go back." No, stay here now, And then on the last climb, a spectator gave him a can of Coke, gave Phil a can of Coke. So he drank half of it, he offered it to Hino, and Hino knocked it out of his hand because He didn't want him to be friendly. He was trying to drop him, and here's the bloke offering him a drink of Coke. He just knocked it out of his hand. He said, "Oh, not very friendly over here." Wonderful story. Wonderful story.
Don't make me get that one wood out and target Hino, mate. That's a disgraceful effort.
Well, Hino hit me with the one wood one time, or close up too. Well, a lump of wood hit me over the head with it, but that's another story.
Well, Hino's a scary dude. Remember that guy tried to get on the podium once, and he spear tackled him, and then he can go. Old Bernard. You don't want to mess with him. Free Ranger wants to know, obvious question, can Cav surpass the great Merckx's record of 35 Tour de France stage wins? Now, John, you're not someone to overly talk things up, particularly around stage wins. Do you reckon you can do it?
Well, it's only 34 he's got to get. 35 he will go in front, but he's only got to equal the record. That'll be fine if he equals the record.
You reckon you can do
it? Three more. Yeah, bloody oath you can.
Yeah. There you go.
If he gets 34, Dan, yes, he equals the record in stage numbers, but Merckx will be the number one on count back.
Who's counting back, Phil? Who's counting back?
Merckx has a pot of second places, and I'm afraid Cav doesn't race for second. If he's not going to win it, he doesn't take part. So he has got as many second places as Eddie. So if he wants the absolute record, he needs 35. Yeah.
Okay. So he needs another 4. Scott McGrory, he's chimed in. I said, I think the question was about what the word Manx means.
Well, it's the Isle of Man, and they have their own parliament called the Tindwall. It's a small island, about 100 kilometres offshore of Liverpool, if you like. It's nearer to Scotland, in fact, and an island. But it's in the old days when I used to go to the Isle of Man to race there, it was a 4-hour boat crossing, and we always had to work out how we got on the boat without paying. See, just a typical Cyprus, aren't we? But we just call the Manx Men. We have the Manx wheel, which is on the island. It's a magnificent. If this island was in the weather of like Sicily or Corsica, it'd be full of tourists. But it's usually raining, and it's got the high mountain in the middle. All right, roar over there. It's a beautiful place. Manx people are very special people, but that's what we call Manxmen. Manx.
We've got Team Bike Exchange head DS Matt White ready to join the show now live. So get your questions ready. Whitey, you've got a great connection now. You're at the back of the bus, mate. Can you hear us?
I am. Changed to orange from Bouygues Telecom, and hopefully we're good to go.
How's the BlackBerry holding up in France, mate? You still rocking it?
Yeah, good. I'm inside. I haven't got it on the dashboard of the car, so hopefully get a good 10 minutes out of it before it overheats.
Yeah, good stuff, mate. Obviously, we've spent the first 15 minutes talking about Mark Cavendish. He's just generally loved in the peloton, and you know, collectively, you guys must have been happy to see him get the victory.
Yeah, I think the most impressive thing that Mark's until this year has been really in the sprinting wilderness for 4 or 5 years, and he's never given up, and he's been for such a superstar to have such a dry patch without winning, and then all of a sudden this year he got his mojo back and started winning again, and it was great to see him. And everyone here, I think, has so much respect for what he's done over the years. And to see him back in the winner's circle at the biggest race of the year is everyone has so much respect for him. So it was great to see. Was
there ever a point that Cav could have joined Green Edge in the history of the team?
No, because he was in his heyday. Well, we've had Caleb, and then we've had some other sprinters, but I think he was never really looking for a deal. I think he was happy with where he was, and then. I suppose last year people were thinking if he was going to retire, and then he went back to the Wolfpack there, and look at the year he's had.
Well, it was funny because the other thing we were debating was Patrick Lefevre, because Dan had the one wood out yesterday, bashing the hell out of him about his comments of Sam Bennett. But I defended him, Patrick, a little bit today. He said, well, look, the other side to it is that he did throw out the lifeline to Cav, which is to change his career. Brought it back.
Well, if Sam Bennett wasn't injured, we wouldn't even be talking about Mark Cavendish, would we? He wouldn't have got a chance to come to the tour. So things happen for a reason, and it's great to see Mark back on the winner's circle at the tour, especially.
Obviously, Whitey, the time trial today, there's going to be obviously a GC shake-up. What's the plan of attack in terms of strategically how you would ride this race?
Mate, I'm going out to have a look at it in a minute. It's not the most technical of time trials. But it's 30K. It's quite long. Well, long in the modern era of cycling anyway. There used to be a lot longer time trials back in the day, but we don't see long time trials. We haven't saw a time trial of this length for a while. It's going to be interesting. I think the most curious thing for me is to see how these injured GC leaders handle today. Because one thing hiding in a bunch, but there's nowhere to hide in a 30K effort like this. So Rodgelick, Geraint Thomas, all the other guys that have been involved in these crashes in the first couple of days, and we're going to have a bit better look at where the GC contenders sit this afternoon.
Well, speaking of Roglic, he was pretty heavily bandaged, particularly on that left leg. And as you said, with Geraint, if you've got a dislocated shoulder, I think the TT would be quite uncomfortable trying to get in the tuck position.
Yeah, I think the good thing for Geraint that is the doctor who put it back in there straight away. So it wasn't actually dislocated for so long. So I don't think it'll be comfortable for the rest of the Tour de France. But he's a tough man, but we'll see today how much discomfort that has actually put him in. And I think with Rodgelick, besides the bandages on his arm and leg, if you saw the footage there, he landed pretty hard on his coccyx there, and that's going to hurt, especially 2 days after. So we'll know how bad they are come this afternoon. But my prediction today is Walt Bernard will be in the yellow jersey.
Yeah, right.
I was rather hoping that Phil might do it.
Hey, Phil, I was just going to say, Phil, is there any insights you want for NBC from Matt White for your commentary today, mate?
Matt's not going to tell me the truth anyway.
I can on a TT day, mate.
They were pretty active yesterday. I guess they were all at the front to try and get Matthews in the right position with it, because the team were riding pretty much on the front yesterday, driven by Turbo Durbo.
Yeah, these first couple of days, it's just about mitigating risk in these finals. It had been so stressful, and the style of racing has really changed over the last few years. It's the guys at teams. If you look at yesterday, EF took up position on the left-hand side, 75 kilometres from the finish, as a team, just to stay out of trouble and to hold one side of the road. And it's a very different style now. And you can either do it a couple of ways. You commit with the whole team, or you just commit with the smaller group. And our engine room guys, Chris Jules Jensen and Luke Durbridge, were there looking after keeping Lucas Hamilton and Michael Matthews out of trouble. And they've done a really good job. We had a few guys go down in the first day's crash, but that was through no fault of their own. That was with that silly lady with the sign. Took down all of us except Simon Yates. But we've avoided some trouble the last couple of days, which is it's a good place to be.
Iffy, can you not touch the microphone, mate? I'm going to have to slap you over the wrist there.
Sorry, Dad.
Yeah. Hey, one other thing I want to talk about, Waddy, is we were talking about, the dangerous course, and the riders did a 1 minute protest just after kilometre 0. But it feels like the peloton is pretty split on this issue. As you said, a lot of it is, the course, the recon, but then others are saying, well, don't put us in that position. What's the general vibe you felt like after yesterday? Is it sort of just, all right, they made their point, done and dusted, let's move on?
Yeah. The protest was pretty farcical, really. Like we spoke about yesterday, it's a combination of things. The way that town, if you want to finish in a major town, or you want to finish in towns, there's going to be road furniture. You can't remove everything. But I think the speed and the nerves in this first week, the Tour de France, the first week's always been nervous, but it's just it's been certainly amplified over the last couple of years. And then with the equipment these guys are riding, and like we spoke about too, at the end of the day, if you've got respect for your rivals, well then, I hear in the bus the boys talking about stuff that happens in the bunch and just the general lack of respect between each other. So at the end of the day, sometimes it's through no fault of their own. But I think definitely the rules need to be looked at. Because the sport has changed, so I think the rules can also be adapted with time. And I understand what from the organisers' side of things, and organisers from television, but and safety. So there could definitely be a compromise.
Iffy?
It's funny that I noticed one spot. It was about inside the last 10 kilometres. So you've got riders all across the road, teams taking, and on the left, FDJ had the whole team in line with their first rider equal, with about 10 of them across the road. And their last rider, Demar, was actually too far back. He was actually getting crowded. Even though he was on the line of his riders, there was that many bike riders in that area. It was almost too far back. And it was on the end of his own train. So it's just staggering how it's going.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. But look, things will settle down. Things will settle down. And after today, we'll have a pretty solidified GC. But yeah, it's the first week of the tour. The nerves, the sprint stages, it is what it is.
Well, one thing that does make me nervous is that last motorbike cameraman in the sprints. Like, you've seen riders come through the apex of that corner and almost be right up the back of it. It just needs to be more distance. I mean, there's zoom on cameras for a reason. It's too close. Yeah, no, and then they swing off at the last minute. It's like they don't need to do that.
No. There is. I think there's too many motorbikes in the way of the guys. And I agree. There's different shots you can get, and they do look great. Those head-on shots, but also when the cameras do get in front of the bunch at certain times, they're having a direct effect on the race as well. So, no, I think there's anyone who's been to the tour, the amount of photographers and television cameras on this race is a lot more than any other as well. And I think they do need to be cleared out, especially in those finals, especially when, at the end of the day, these guys can get around corners much faster than a motorbike, especially in the wet, when you actually got two people on them. So, yeah, I think there's some things that need to be looked at, definitely.
Mate, if they're looking for a camera angle, Arnold Schwarzenegger summed it up. Get to the chopper. Just go to the chopper. That's it. It's easy.
It gives a different view, yeah.
That's only because Arnold's too small, and they have to shoot from the road upwards to make him look more than his 4 foot nothing that he really is in real life. So
yeah, that's it.
When he's filmed on television, you never see a shot that shows his size. He's a very small man.
There you go. I tell you, another small man who's going okay is Bahani. Second third the day before, second yesterday, and I noticed he's actually being a little bit more gentle than he used to be. Maybe he's a bit nervous, but I watched it about 200 to go. Normally he would just dive through. He actually let someone through and follow the wheel. I thought, well, maybe he's settled down in his old age.
Yeah, he knows he's got the microscope on him, and if he steps out of line, he'll be getting the first plane ticket home, I reckon. So. Yeah, he's definitely taken a step back for some of the sprints we've seen from him this year.
With the time trial today, hey, the Joker, how's it going? How are you, mate? What's going on?
Oh, not much. Just getting ready for the time trial.
Hey, I want to ask you, Chris, how are you going? How are you going with the COVID restrictions, not being able to scab food and coffee cups from the fans?
Well, I'm getting through. I was pretty polite in the Giro. I asked the hotel if I could buy one. They gave me it. Otherwise, I'm just leaning up, making the most of it. Getting pretty skinny. Can't eat much from the fans.
And what are you doing back-to-back bloody Grand Tours, mate? You're trying to go for some sort of record.
Right, you can't keep the best down, eh? The engine room needs me.
Hey, how you feeling, mate? You had a bit of a touchdown the other day. How are you feeling now, bud?
Well, I'm good. We had a bit of a sketchy start with some of the crashes, but if anyone's to handle a crash like that, it's Gondal the Great. So Ammon's he'll be fit for fight soon enough, and I think things taken into account, we've been pretty lucky actually. So make the most of this semi-rest day and then jog on tomorrow.
And how do you rate your chances finally in the TT, mate? You a bit of a specialist when you want to be, and you've definitely got the form and legs. And as you said, you're looking lean. It's all ticking the boxes for what, top 10?
Well, although I am former Danish time trial champion, which says a lot, but my time trial days are behind me. So I'm just going to enjoy the scenery and get through as best I can.
Oh, mate. Well, enjoy the ride. Thanks for your little cameo there.
Yeah, mate.
Chris Jensen, the Joker. Hey, one final one for me, Whitey, is what is the sort of cutoff for GC time with Esteban? If he loses too much time, will you just go, okay, we'll sit up and now we'll go for stages? Or what's the sort of, what would you be looking at to say, okay, there's enough now to say let's hold on and stay in the GC hunt?
Yeah, I think we have a look at it tonight. Because the problem is, unless he gets right off general classification, no one will let him go in the Alps. So I know how these teams ride, and I remember last year he was in like 20th place at like 7 minutes, and Jumbo Jumbo come and told him in the neutral. They said, "You're the last bloke on our list. We're not letting go down the road." And he was at 7 minutes 50 or something. So you've got to be right off GC to get in those moves. So it'll come. But let's hope he has a decent TT today, and we'll play by ear. But if you still are up there, these big teams won't let you go in a move in this first wave of mountains.
Yep. Anything you want to add, Phil? Iffy, before we let Whitey go?
No, just Lucas is going okay. He's happy enough. Matt?
Yeah, he is, mate. It's been an experience for him, that's for sure. His first Tour de France, but I'll be curious to see how he goes today. It's been working on his time trial. It's not his forte, but he's just got to have a consistent ride today, and then get through the next couple more days on the flat, and then we'll see how he's really climbing, and that's going to be really, really important that he doesn't lose too much time today.
Good stuff.
Keep your nose clean. That's the attitude till we get down to those mountains and Mont Ventoux.
Yeah, we've got a couple more days to go.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, thanks for joining us again, Whitey. Good luck for the TT today, and we'll check in again tomorrow, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, mate.
Thanks, Whitey. See you, mate.
Yeah.
Sports Director Matt White. Now, before we let you go, Phil, we haven't mentioned the foundation, the Kareka Foundation, and obviously the website to donate is www.kariega.co.za/peloton. How's it all going so far, mate?
Well, overnight, since you gave me a fantastic plug yesterday, your viewers have started sending the dollars across to South Africa, and Lindy is just over the moon. I know you put up your own special prizes as well for the competition, for the entries. But I'm thinking in rand at the moment. I can't think in dollars, but it's 178,000 rand. So we're in the region now for my peloton, really helping out a serious situation, because South Africa's gone into full lockdown now, which includes all the liquor stores are closed. You can't even get a drink in South Africa now, because the indigenous people tend to pass the same bottle around and drink from it, and that means they've got to stop selling the stuff. So it's quite a serious scene. Kareka is desperate they can't have visitors again. And I think we're up to around about nearly $13,000 which, with no other form of income, no sponsors like many of the game reserves have, where they've got regular money coming in. There's none of that with Kareka. And they've got 56,000 hectares of land with all these animals just free roaming. I mean, when you want to see these animals, you go and look for them in a vehicle and hope you see them. And well, I'm just saying thank you to everybody that's contributing to keep Kareka on the map, and of course my favourite rhinos.
Yeah, fantastic.
I got a lovely email from Lindy Sutherland yesterday, thanking Dan and I for putting Kareka onto our show. But you really feel you don't need all the accolades, because you said the other day that Lindy is so happy that the cycling have really come on board the Kareka Foundation, but that's because they found out about it because of you, mate. So well done.
Well, we thought we'd have a little go at. I didn't actually think of the term Phil's African Peloton. I think it was them that suggested it. And we didn't come together as a cycling-related situation because of my love and support of the animals in Africa. But she decided, there's the update target at the moment, 12,497 is where we are. And thank you for showing me that one too.
Well, I think it might be more. I think that's from a couple of days ago. So, as you said, it's probably up to 13.
Yes,
yeah.
Top 13,000. Yeah.
I'll have to update it every day, mate. That's my bad.
You're a good lad. So, everybody's so happy, and Lindy has become an absolute expert in the Tour de France from never doing so. I know we're sending her the podcast now, so she will see this chat we're having right now later on today, and she's following the Tour de France, which is fabulous. And
that's fantastic.
Times when they've hit rock bottom with depression because they listen to the news when they wake up, and it's all bad. And she's thinking there's going to be no money coming. That's the bad. And all those animals out there running wild, they don't feed the animals. The animals live off the land. But they still got to watch them. I mean, they've got lion roaming around. They've got all the usual bucks and giraffe and stuff. Yeah. And the rhinos. My rhinos. Yeah. And he's the star, of course.
We've got a question before you go, Phil, from Wendy Superfan. She says, does Trish still have the safari tour? Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, we're going to expand on it, Wendy, too. Once we get the Tour de France and the Olympics and another triathlon, which I'm doing in August in Slovakia. Once that's all out of the way, we're getting our heads down to running our safaris again. And we're actually going to Koreka next April with an exclusive group of 16 people. And they'll be given the time of their lives after what has happened these last few months with helping Linda out of trouble. But, of course, will we get there? We don't know. This COVID just leaves everything in doubt.
Well, AC's also chimed in with a suggestion. Surely there's a rhino jersey chance in here. Atticus? Question mark?
Well, I wish maybe I'll bring my rhino jersey in and I'll show you. We do have a rhino jersey, and I normally wear it when I do my official rhino functions. I'm going to bring it in during the next few days, John, and we'll show it here on the podcast. It's a
fantastic. Nice yeah, it is. It's a great looking jersey. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Well, as always, it's been a pleasure having you on the D2 again, Phil. We really appreciate it, and we encourage everyone to donate if you get the chance, and any amount will do, because you can go into the competition, and let's keep getting behind a great cause. And surely there's going to be more talking points after the time trial. Let's hope everyone stays upright. But the GC will be shaken up, so it's exciting.
I think there'll be a new leader for sure. Matty White might be right with Wout van Aert, but his form isn't quite there yet. After he had appendicitis operation, I think, and he's right in the Tour de France. His form's not quite there yet. But I've got a feeling Alaphilippe will do a great ride and maybe claim back the yellow for a few days. We'll see.
I reckon he'll rip up, but everyone's forgetting about the guy who's got the yellow at the moment. I reckon he'll do a pretty good ride too.
Well, yes, he's predicting, and of course that's the first thing I don't believe. When he says he'll probably lose his lead today, that means he's not thinking that way at all. Because you can never trust bike riders. I keep saying this, John, but bike riders never tell the truth. They don't want everybody else to know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, thanks again, Phil. We'll check in again tomorrow, mate, and we look forward to seeing that rhino jersey.
Yeah, I'll bring it in. You guys have a great day and enjoy the time trial.
Good on you, mate. Speak to you soon.
Thanks, Phil.
Thanks, Phil. Phil Liggett, the voice of cycling. What an absolute pleasure having him on the show every day. Now, one thing we have to mention as well, Iffy is the Let's Go Motorhomes competition before we go to the block of ads. Best question gets $500 Let's Go Motorhome voucher, John.
Yes, so Andrew, the manager there, has been fantastic. So not only that, he's got also, that's each week. So there's three chances to win that voucher. So the best question each week. So need a bit of work on some of those questions, guys. Stop just saying hi and ask them.
Get your one word out.
Get the one word out. Exactly. That's what we want to see. Yeah. But yeah, look, we all know how great Let's Go Motorhomes are, and so not only that, they've offered another $500 voucher to whoever raises the most for that Koreka Foundation.
Well, before we go to the ad break, we're going to be joined, hopefully in about 4 minutes, Iffy, with Mark Renshaw. At one point there, he was regarded, or he still is, one of the world's best ever lead-out men, and that was a famous photo on the Champs-Élysées. I think that was 2009, was it?
Yeah, can't remember the year, but let him out and got second. So amazing stuff. So look forward to talking to Mark Renshaw, who has now opened up a brilliant bike shop in Bathurst. So we can talk to you about that as well.
All right, well, here's a quick word from our great sponsors, Let's Go Motorhomes and Bike Exchange.
The Let's Go Motorhomes app has everything at the tip of your finger, from car parks to campgrounds, tips and tricks. The app makes your road trip smoother. This is the way to go. Download the Let's Go Motorhomes app today.
Look at this bike. You think it's just a bike, right? But it's not. It's a bike. 374 people are looking at. This guy, this girl, them, all looking at it. People from here, there, and wherever this is. People that are looking for a bike. Or just a piece of it. Amateurs, semi-amateurs, and pro-amateurs. This guy wants this bike, but with this crank and these bars. This could be the perfect match. But not this one. This girl has a bike to sell, and thousands of people might purchase it. Eyes on Bikes help grow small businesses. His, hers, yours, and the latest data and insights help those businesses keep moving. We are the world's #1 bike marketplace, with over 500,000 products and 900 brands, where buyers and sellers are brought together in a place where a bike is never just a bike. Bike Exchange, where the world buys, sells, learns, and rides.
Thanks again to our great mates at Let's Go Motorhomes and Bike Exchange. Now, John, did you send Mark the link to the shop?
I'm doing it as we speak.
Oh, you're kidding
I
me.
didn't realise you hadn't sent it to him. So
I said in that email, John, send the link on to Mark.
Oh, well, there you go. I don't listen to anything you say. You know that.
Well, now we're going to have to fill it for 5 minutes. What do you want to talk about, John?
Let me just get the copy done. Let me do this. You talk for a second while I send him his.
Oh, well, I'm unprepared here, folks. Obviously, we're going to be talking to Mark Renshaw, hopefully. And, fantastic memories he's going to have with Cavendish over the years. They had a great relationship. I'm just going to burn all the photos that I've got loaded up. There you can see Renshaw and Cav at the finale. And then that must have been the year that Mark was rubbed out of the race with the headbutt incident with Julian Dean. And that was a bit controversial at the time because a lot of people thought, well, he'll probably get relegated or might be fined, but to have him booted off the race was very, very extreme. And I think we've run a video, I don't have it loaded up, but when Cavendish was told that Renshaw was eliminated from the race and just the shock, and then when Cav went over to the commissaire to try to plead his case, and he's just like, no, he's off. But I mean, and the good thing is, like, we can get insights from Mark just around the mindset of Cav, because it definitely opens up, we said earlier with some of the comments from the riders, just how tough mentally Mark Cavendish is to go 5 years between wins at the Tour. And as he said, he didn't think he'd be racing the Tour again to get to that form, because, he's beaten the best of the best in the sprints. But another thing you were saying earlier off air, John, is you must really feel for Caleb Ewan as well during this period, given that, I mean, we're never going to know, but there's an opportunity there, not just to win a handful of stages, but green jersey, something that he's never won before.
I was speaking to his manager, Jason Backer, today, who was very upset, of course. And he also is the manager of Jack Haig, so double whammy the other day. But he said, I can't believe how he was just going in for this operation on his shoulder. That's done and dusted. He's already past that. He's excited about heading down to the Vuelta. He said it's all focused on all about that. He's fine. Amazing, really.
Mark Renshaw joins us now. Mark, welcome back to the Detour, mate. And nice backdrop. Renshaw's, is it Pedal Project, the shop?
It is. It's Pedal Project, but look at the bling behind me. So I can tell you, there's a couple of World Championships jerseys there. We got I don't want to take your time up, but we got
it's great.
We got Cavendish, Kwiatkowski, Bettini, Torhushoff, Mario Cipollini. We got Greg LeMond's Junior World Champion jersey there. Who have I missed? And Cerrone. Cerrone actually is the last one.
You're gonna have to adjust the eBay price on that Cavendish jersey now, mate. With 31 victories in the Tour, you must have been ecstatic seeing your old sparring partner get up for a memorable victory.
No, look, I'm really happy for him because we had a couple of rough seasons there towards the end of our career, so I'm pretty proud of him to fight back. It shows the drive that he has, and he's just that driven guy. He knew he had another stage win in him. Deep down, he would have believed in himself. His family got right behind him, and he's found his way back to Quickstep with Patrick Lefebvre, who has shown confidence in him. And look, I'm just rapt for him. It's so good. He sprinted across 3 generations of sprinters. He started with Pataki and McEwen, and he was in with Kittel, and now he's Demar and Ewan. So it's really impressive, and I'm really happy for him that he's got back on the top step.
Have you managed to send him a tweet or a message today?
I haven't spoken with him since his victory, but I spent 20 odd minutes with him on the phone, 15, 20 minutes, just chatting the evening before the stage. So it was quite late there. It was about 11 o'clock. And I could still hear him up, with his roommate, and gave me a call. And we discussed that the stage was the stage that we won back in 2015. It was our first win in the Tour that year. I think it was his only win that year as well. We had massive pressure. We were at Quickstep, and it just took a little bit to come together. So we both needed to finish well. So it was great.
Now, I've got a quick question for you. I don't know if you saw last night's podcast, but Dan Jones got the one wood out. And
really, you're still going on about this?
Really hit it on poor old Patrick Lefebvre, because he's really dark on Patrick bagging Sam Bennett, saying things that he feels should be dirty laundry that should be kept in-house. So, but you raced under Patrick Lefebvre. How did you find the guy?
Yeah, look, he's a straight shooter. He's Belgium. He's got the most experience out of any World Tour team. He's managed teams for a long time. And look, I had a great relationship with him. But in saying that, he has his riders back until he's super critical at the same time. He has their back. And I took a lot of lessons from a leader like that, and that's I've used them to this day. Even though in a cycling retail business, I use some of his mottos and the way that he led a team. Some people don't like it. At the time, I had some of the biggest highs, and I also had some of the biggest lows. He was completely filthy at me sometimes, but then we shared massive moments where we won with Tony Martin and Kwiatkowski and Stybar and Cavendish in the Tour de France. So big highs, big lows, but he loves the sport. You wouldn't do it otherwise. You wouldn't do that job if you didn't love the sport. And you've only got to look at what Cav says about Patrick. He's took him back under his wing. Late in his career. So he'll be forever grateful to Patrick for giving him another opportunity.
Mark, how hard is it, and to give people more of appreciation, how hard is it to stay at the top of your game when you are a sprinter? And how big is this that Cav has won after 5 years, at the Tour?
Look, it's incredible. Honestly, I knew he could do it. I didn't think he would. A lot of people asked me early in the year, and I said, look, he's not going to go to the Tour. They got Sam Bennett. He won the green jersey. But anything can happen in cycling, and we've seen that. So, it all unfolded. It laid out perfect for him. He got the opportunity, and he made sure he got to the Tour in top-notch shape. And, we speak about how hard it is. Mentally, he would have had to prepare himself. Let alone being physically in shape. So for him to have that amount of years between victories at the Tour, and as I said, sprinting across generations like he did, it's amazing.
And how important is it if the monkey's off the back early in the Tour? Like, we've got a stage win at stage 4, and a lot of hype is gathering around, can he get the record? He's got to have to win 4 stages. But, geez, if it's a confidence game, are you willing to predict, how many stages he could potentially win now?
Look, I reckon the odds are pretty short for another stage victory, because I think as long as he stays upright and healthy, confidence will be at an all-time high. He absolutely has one of the best teams for leading out the Koenig Quickstep. Throw Michael Morkoff in the mix, who at the moment is the undisputed best lead-out man in the peloton. It all bodes well for him for another stage victory.
He's the best since Mark Renshaw, they reckon.
No, that's a big call, John. A big call.
Look, he's very classy, and he does really well. He reads the races perfectly. I did a 5-minute breakdown of Cav's win today, and just the way he moves and the speed he moves at the right time. Taking it easy other times, and he's always in the best position. And look, he's worked with multiple sprinters. Like I did in my career, starting with Hushoff and working with, Matt Goss, Edvald Bosenhagen, as well as Cav. And Michael Morkoff's shown, that he can be versatile and do that across many riders.
How important was it? I know Morkoff's also got that track background, which is the same as you. How important do you reckon that is in what you do as a lead-out man?
Yeah, I think it's pretty important. I think on the track you learn to lay off a wheel, pick the right time, when to go, the right side of the wheel. It gives you a lot of fundamentals on leading out. So I think it's not necessary to be a track rider, but it definitely helps, especially coming up through the junior ranks. And he's great in the Madison points race. He's got a great turn of speed, so he's got that short, powerful effort to move up when he needs to. And the most important thing is reading the race.
Now, mate, obviously on a different topic, how's the bike shop going? We're, a bit uncertain with lockdowns and so forth. How's it affecting you guys at the moment?
Yeah, look, bikes are always hard to get since COVID rolled around. It's always been difficult to get stock. But last year, mid-year, I took a big gamble and just started, where we'd order 3, I'd order 13. And just started ordering up all this stock. So at the moment, it's all piling up out the back of the shop, and we're looking to sell it all. But in the same vote, we had a couple of quiet 2 weeks as we were in the depth of winter there. But now that, we've got some new lockdowns, things are picking back up, and we're starting to see some, very impulse buys with, lockdown looming here in New South Wales.
We've got a couple of comments coming in. Obviously, Wendy super fair again. Hi, Mark. Great to see you on the detour. Matthew says, hi, boys. And Alexander Woolley, Sandy says, great bikes. Got 2 from Mark last year. So there's some validation for you, mate.
Yeah, no. Sandy down in Melbourne, know him really well, working at Telstra, and he's one of our best customers in the shop. So really proud to see Sandy watching the show. Well done, mate. We were meant to catch up here in a couple of weeks in Bathurst.
Yeah. Anything you want to add, Iffy, before we wrap up the show?
Just throw in that as much as Mark Cavendish has won, he never won the Bakerits, but you certainly did, Mark. So you got that one on him, all right?
Yeah, no, he never made it. He never made out the Bakerits. And honestly, John, if he would have come out in January, there's no way he would have got around a car park. Not at those speeds.
The hot dog.
Not at those speeds we were doing.
Just one last one for you, mate, because you obviously live just up the road from Bowral, and Caleb. It was just devastating to see what happened to him the other day.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I chatted with him last night, so it would have been just early morning for him. He was, on the way to get his operation, and absolutely devastating. His opening message back to me was, I was in the form of my life. And you just don't have those moments too often in your career when everything's right, and then to lose it on the first sprint stage, not even get the chance to, really lay it down and do a sprint. So feeling for him, but he'll bounce back. He's a classy rider. He's still pretty young, but I'm devastated for him, because it would have been a great opportunity to, go for multiple stage wins. Green jersey. It's all these things that are, he's going to have to sit at home and watch. And I started 10 tours. I never finished 10, but there'll be a lot of moments he'll be hurting in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We've just got 2 viewer questions before we let you go, mate. Taylor Jones says, seeing Cav back on top would have had to have given you some itchy feet, Mark. And then he said, trust Iffy to weave the bakerits in
Look, I won't lie to you. There was moments over the last few days where I thought, God, I could have just maybe wrung out another season or 2. And when everything's going good, it's so much fun. And I use this saying a lot. It's, when you're kicking people's teeth in the bunch, it's all fun. But like, I spent a few years there getting my teeth kicked in, and it's just horrible. So by the end of it, when you're not on top of your game, you don't hang around because you're just getting smashed from pillar to post. And I just have to remember those moments rather than, these moments of winning stages to remind myself I made the right decision. I had a great career, and now I'm loving life back in Australia.
And last one from Stuart McIntosh. He says, what was Mark's most memorable win in his career?
I only got to win 16 odd races, so there's not a whole lot to choose from. But obviously winning the Tour of Qatar overall was a huge win for me at that stage. We had Cav there with me, leading me out to win Tour of Qatar, so that was pretty amazing. That's on a personal victory, but as a team victory, obviously our 1-2 on the Champs-Élysées was huge. And we just saw, Philipsen and Merlier go 1-2 a couple of days ago, and that's the first time in the Tour de France we've seen a 1-2 victory since back in 2010.
Fantastic, mate. We really appreciate you coming on the detour. Great insights there with Cav, and good luck with Renshaw Pedal Project. As we said, if it's good enough for Sandy Woolley, get yourself in there. Where can they purchase a bike through you guys? You're with Bike Exchange, aren't you?
Yes, jump on Bike Exchange. You'll search our shop up, Renshaw's Pedal Project. Plenty of stock there. We've got our whole inventory on Bike Exchange, which is good. You can see every bike that we have in store rather than just promoting or inquire now. We've actually got the bike here built, ready to go.
All right, perfect.
Jump on, mate.
Thanks for joining us, Mark.
Thanks, guys.
See you, mate. Bye.
Mark Renshaw, world's greatest ever lead-out man, there's no doubt. Now, before we wrap, there's a couple of other comments. Kingo says, if Cav had won the Bakerits, he probably would have retired. Career complete with nothing left to achieve.
Good on you, mate.
Not a bad way to finish. Thanks for joining us, Iffy. You're about to go live on SBS to join the
Yes,
group.
well, I think it's been taped with Christoph, so I better get moving.
All right. Thanks for joining us, guys. As we always say, jump on youtube.com/The Detour Podcast. Tell your mates, spread the word, like, share, subscribe. And we'll see you again tomorrow with Phil Liggett, Matt White, and we'll dissect all the action from the individual time trial. See you then.
This is the winning